Welcome back to RADNIFY, where we lead in the future one skill at a time. Today we'll be stepping into something really practical. We learned from our previous class how to build pages, style them, even add little interactivity, but today you will learn how to collect information from your users. That means we are diving into HTML forms and advanced CSS layouts. By the end of this video, you will have a beautiful styled contact form, the kind used on real websites. Quick recap. So in our last videos, the part 1, part 2 and part 3, we have been able to explore how HTML structures your website, how CSS makes it beautiful, and how JavaScript adds interactivity like buttons and alerts. We have even added simple scripts to make things react, like showing messages or toggling colors. Let's think of your website like a restaurant. HTML is building, CSS is the interior design, and JavaScript is your waiter taking orders and making things happen. Moving on, let's look into today's goal. By the end of this class, you'll be able to create professional HTML forms for collecting data, understand forms input and text area, checkboxes, radios, and buttons. Learn CSS layouts including inline, block, and flexbox. Style your form beautifully using CSS, and finally build your first contact form project. Let's dive in. What are HTML forms? Forms are how websites communicate with users. Every time you are signing up for something or logging in or submitting a feedback, that is a form at work. Think of it like a digital suggestion box. You place your notes, that is your data, and the website takes it to the right person, that is the server. Now the basic form structure. We have the basic form structure, the form action, method post, then the form contents goes inside here and you close the tag form. Now the form, it wraps everything together. The form tag wraps everything together, telling the HTML page that this particular section is from form. Now the word action is where the data goes in. Is where the data goes, is where the data is being sent to. Is either the data is being sent to a processing file or is being sent to the SQL JX file to process it. That's why I say action, where the data goes to. Now we have methods, how the data is sent. Either the data is sent via get method or post method. Let's move on. We have what's called input element. Forms have many input types, each like different kind of pen or button in the real world. Let's begin. The first input element we have is called text input. Input type text, placeholder, enter your name, close bracket. It's like writing your name or a form. You have a form, something like enter your first name, enter your last name. That is the work of this input element called text input. Now we have another input element. It's called email input. This helps to check the type of real email format. This is where you put your emails. It's mostly meant to handle only email format, whether it's at gmail.com, at yahoo.com, at hotmail.com. It's meant to handle all email inputs. We have the next input element. We have what's called password input. Password input helps to hide the text you type in for privacy. Have you ever wondered why anytime you put your password on any site, you find that it will have dot dot dot, or it will be in asterisk form. It's because that particular field, that particular form has a password input. It's meant to hide your password for privacy. That is why anytime you input a text inside, automatically enters dot. The next input element we have is called textarea. This can contain as much word as possible, whether 200, 300, 400, because this one is meant to collect long text like compliance form, suggestion box, support ticket. This is the input element for that function. Another input element we have is called select drop down. Select drop down is meant for choosing topics. It's meant for choosing topics or options in a menu. Say for instance, we have states in Nigeria. Now, what a select drop down input element does is that it helps you see the list. So you cannot select. So you see something like Abia, you see Anambra, you see Imo State. So now once you click select state, you find that a drop down menu appears. It is this select drop down input element that does that. It helps you to choose from it. Another input element we have is called checkbox. Checkbox is more like ticking yes or no in a survey. So you will always see it in every forms or anything you are filling. You see something like do you like to subscribe to our email? Yes or no. Once you click yes or you click no, it's for check. It was checking box. It's also like option, two option, yes or no, true or false. That is what a checkbox does. And lastly, we have what's called button. Now, after everything has been done in the form, whether you inputted your text or your email, your password, or you selected a drop down, or you click a checkbox, everything must be submitted to the server. That is what the button input element does. It takes all this information, put it in one, and sends it to the server. So the button is more like the postman that takes everything you did and sends it to the server. Moving on, CSS layouts. Now, CSS layouts, inline block, and flexbox. CSS is what turns your form from a plain sheet of paper that is white to a sleek digital experience. That's what CSS does. Instead of you having the line of name, what's your first name, what's your last name, what CSS does is that it makes that form you are filling look fine and attractive, so that it will not just be dull, white and black, just like a random paper you saw anywhere. CSS makes it have unique digital experience. Now in CSS we have what's called inline and we have what's called block. Let's differentiate them. Inline versus block. Now inline elements sit side by side. Therefore, instead like text or links, they sit side by side. So it's more like inline is more like you are selecting. You have a group of 10 people. In that group of 10 people, you selected one person. You will now say this particular person should sit down, while other people should stand. Now you are picking one person among those people, that this person should do this particular thing while other people do the opposite direction. But you see block elements now won't select only one person, it will select the whole row. So take for instance, you're in a school now, everybody's in an assembly ground, we have GS1 to GS3. Inline, we go to GS1 and only pick one person to kneel down. But block element will pick the whole GS1. Therefore I say it will take a full width, it will pick the whole GS1 to kneel down. That is what difference between an inline and a block element does. Then let's move on. We have moving on, flexbox. Flexbox is a modern layout magic. It's more like the latest style of making things look finer, making layout look finer without stress. So flexbox is like a digital shelf organizer. It helps align items perfectly without stress. It helps align items perfectly without stress. It's mostly used in CSS. It's mostly used in forms. It's mostly used in gallery, picture galleries. It's more like a bookshelf. It's more like a frame. You have a picture. You cannot just hang your picture on the wall and it will expect it, but you put it in a frame. You hang it on the wall. It fits inside that frame straight. So that's why it's called digital shelf organizer, just like your bookshelf, your plate shelf where you put your plates, your office shelf. It's that was work of a flexbox. It helps align items perfectly. So moving on, let's go into the practical aspects. So I believe from previous class you know how to start an HTML document. So please always make sure you don't miss out from anything. If you don't understand, please watch previous videos so you can get a clearer picture of what has been taught previously. Now I'm going to show you something. If you notice, if for those who are using mobile devices, it looks more like desktop mode. Your code looks more like desktop mode. So let me show you how to get rid of that. Just keep following. So now this part is where we solve that issue. So meta view spot, just always keep it in your mind. Meta name equals to open quote, close quote, view spot. Content equals to open quote, the width of the device. That's device width. Close, then the initial scale. Then you close it. That solves that issue. Then remember our title. Let's call it contact form. So the style. I'm not creating the style yet. Cannot give something that does not exist a style. Create the body. Close the head. Open the body. And let's create it. So we're going to create the class container. Give it using the div tag, that is div tag, that is division tag. Very easy to keep it here. So I'm going to name this class. Give it form container. Anyone you want. But just make sure you always remember the class. So is that class you use to track, you use to give a style. Yeah, let's just give it. Let's just name this contact us. Now let's use the form. Since we are creating form, use the form tag. Let's create a contact form that will ask the people their name, their email, and what message do they have for us. So first, let's label it. That's why we're going to use the label tag, label. That's why HTML is quite nice. It's more like what you speak, it's what you use. Name. Right? Then let's create the input type. Now since name is a text, remember the input type is going to be text. Then let's create a placeholder. Placeholder is where the user will input the information. So tell the user to, let's say, maybe write your name here, but since it's a form, let's say enter your name. Enter your name. And we want it to be required, which means the form cannot be skipped. So we use the tag required. Let's create another label again. Okay, I just noticed something. Label, yes. Label. Email. We need their email. Then the input type. We have to create the input type because obviously you have to input something. The input type is email. Create the placeholder. Then let's tell them to enter their email. Enter your email. And the email is required also. Let's create another label. Let's call it message because that's where they will put the message they have for us. Message. Let's create input type. So since it's text, we're going to use the text area. Since it's text, now when we say want to use the tag text area means for longer text messages. For longer text. For if we're using the input type, text, it means for shorter text, that's for your name, for addresses. But since we're using text area, it means we want something that's for longer characters, maybe like 200, 300, 400. That's when we use the tag text area. So text area, use the tag text area. So let's create the placeholder. Placeholder is that's where they will input the message they have for us. Placeholder. The full code will be dropped in the comment section. The full code will drop in the comment section, so in case you want to use to practice or you weren't able to see some things, the full code is in the comment section. Write your message. So yeah, it's required. It's required. Let's make it required so that the form cannot be submitted. Let's close it and close the text area tag. Yes. So we need to add button because there is no form without a button. Let's create a button. The button type is submit. Because the button is to submit or to send the message. So this is what the user will see. Send message now. Then we close the button. Nice. Now let's close the form tag. Close the division tag. Close the body. And now finally close HTML. Save. So now visit your file now before we start adding styling. This is the file. So we have created a form. We have successfully created a form. Now I cannot submit anything, you cannot, but at least we are going there. So let's create the styling. So the body, we open the body tag. Let's give the font family. Yeah, it's Arial. Close it, semicolon. Give the background. Let's say pink. Funny color, pink. Then let's give margin. 0. Let's give padding. I believe by now we have understand the meaning of all this. If you still have issues with it, always do check back previous messages. So let's not give the form. Remember we gave form container. Let's give the background. White. And padding again. 20px. Let's give border radius. Then let's give the width. Yeah. Let's give the max width. Maximum width 500 px. Let's give margin. Let's give it 50. 50, then the other one, let's make them automatic. So 50 auto. Now close the tag for the form container. Now we have next one we have there is the h2. Let's give the h2 a style. Now if you notice something, when I created the body tag, this body, I did not add this dot. If you notice, it didn't have the dots. But when I created the form container, I added the dot. The reason why it's like that is because this form container is inside a division class, that is div class form container. So this dot is more like to pinpoint it. If I move this dot now, CSS will try to find a tag with just form container, so it will not find it. So this pinpoint, like I dot it, is to pinpoint it. Okay, to this you get a division class that has name form container. So let's continue. Next one is the h2. Let's give it color. Let's say green. Let's give the text align, because we want the text to align, obviously. Then let's say in center. Then close it. Then we have label, where we're labeling the name, the email, the message. Yes, all that. We need to label it also. We need to design it also. Please let's be careful about spellings. So font weight. So whether it will be bold, it will be thin. That's what the font weight does. Then display block. We need to bring a display block. So display block. Then the margin from the top, as margin top, is 15 px. Good. Now we're ready to start the label. What it means now is the input. The input and the text area, this and this. Now in CSS, that is what you can do to make two components or 3 or 4 components to share the same styling pattern. Then because we want this input where people input their name and email, and this tag text area where people input their message to share the same styling. Instead of us creating their unique styling pattern, creating it again, we can let them share it by doing this. Let's now tag the input. Put comma. Now tag the text area. The open bracket. We have actually successfully let both of them share same styling. So width 100%, padding, just give it 8 px. Margin top, just give it 5 px. Border, just give it 1 px. Then we need the border to have a color. You can put any color here. So if you give the border, you can tell the border, okay, border, I need you to have color. So I want you to have solid gray. But you can put green, blue, black, pink. Then in the next upcoming classes, there will be what's called hex color code. Hex color code 5px. So the last thing here now to style is close the tag. The last thing here now to style is the button. Let's save. Let's see how it is. Refresh. So we can see now that this is styled, this is styled, but the button is not styled. It's not styled at all. So let's do fine now. Let's style the button. So use the tag button, open, yes, create the background. Green, let's call it green. Color, let's give it white. Then the border, we don't need to have any border, so just state it here down. We don't need it to have border, none. Give the padding. Then let's give the margin top. Oh, remember, all these things can be adjusted to suit your needs. Once it does not look nice in your eyes, you can always adjust it. That's why it's called CSS. You can always paint your house the way you like it. Let's give it width. Let's give the border radius. Let's give it 5px. Let's give it font width. Let's say bold. We need it to be very bold. Then close it. Save. So now go back and reload. So we have finally completed the form. So as time goes on, once we have finished the introduction to JavaScript, we have learned PHP, we are now going to do the final result. Final result, we'll merge this form into our first website. We'll improve our first website. We'll let people to be able to contact us via our form. People will send messages. JavaScript will take the message, give it to PHP. PHP will now process it and save it in our database SQL. So let's view our results. So yeah, okay. So today you learned how HTML forms collects user data, the power of CSS layouts, how to make forms visually professional. If you love this, don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. This is RADNIFY, building the future one skill at a time.